like to reconvene the meeting of the Petaluma City Schools Board of Education. If you would all again rise for the pledge of allegiance, led by Mr. Matthews.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, it is a mountain. All right, just a couple of real quick housekeeping items. For those of you that have a cell phone tonight, if you remember to turn it on vibrate, please, or turn it off. And I'll check mine. And also for anyone who would like to speak tonight in public comment or on any of our agendized items, there's a stack of yellow comment cards in the back. I'd ask you to go ahead and pre-fill that out and get it up here to Donna in the on my left side, and that way we'll keep everything moving along quickly. All right? Thank you. So let's go ahead and move to item E, adoption and approval of the agenda. I didn't hear any requested changes. A second?
Second.
All those in favor of the agenda as it sits?
Aye.
Aye. We shall go as it sits. Approval of the minutes for October 8th. I believe Mary was, yeah. Okay.
I was gone.
So Mary will have to abstain from this. So I'll take a motion on the approval of the minutes from October 8th.
Oh. Motion?
We don't charge for the motion, we can make one for free.
I'll move it.
Okay,
I'll second.
All those in favor, besides Mary?
Aye.
Aye. So before 0 and 1. Okay. Special presentations. The best part of the meeting by far. We should have some student reps from the different schools here today. I'm going to start with Petaluma Junior High, but don't get up yet. So the way that this works is I'll call the student reps up here. They'll come up, they'll introduce the students of the month, and then we'll tell a little story about the students of the month that usually is pretty embarrassing. We'll ask you to stand right there. We'll ask you to look directly into the camera, and it's pretty awkward, but we all get a good kick out of it, so it's always very fun for us. And parents, if you like, I would encourage you to take pictures. And you're welcome to kind of scoot over there behind Mr. Sturrett, or even as far as back over behind Midge or Jane if you'd like to get a good picture, because your student's going to be facing this way. All right? So let's start with Petaluma Junior High School.
Good evening, my name is Kayla Pearson. Petaluma Junior High School selected Jesus Rengo Garcia as October Student of the Month.
No good being first, man. I'm really sorry. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, I want you to take this. I want you to come right over here. I want you to turn right there and be uncomfortable.
A bright student with varied interests, Jesus Rengo Garcia, known to his friends as Alex, has been selected as Petaluma Junior High School Student of the Month for October 2013. Teachers state, Jesus is an excellent participant in the classroom. He is concerned about learning and is very responsible about his assignments, turning in excellent work on a consistent basis. He is productive, disciplined, optimistic, and dependable. Jesus earned the Perfect Attendance Award, was on the honor roll, and earned the gold and silver awards for academic excellence in the 7th grade. His future goals include maintaining good grades in high school and attending a top quality university. Jesus is well liked by his peers and has a good sense of humor. He has always been concerned about others and valued his training as a safe school ambassador in elementary school. He continues to use skills he learned conscientiously, working to become a better person and contribute to a positive school environment. Outside of school, Jesus stays active, playing soccer on a local recreational traveling team. He loves the rush of kicking a ball across the field and is an excellent defensive player. He also enjoys drawing as a way to creatively express himself. Jesus finds inspiration in this activity and shares his drawings with his friends. In addition, Jesus likes spending time at home with family and friends, hanging out at the backyard pool. His parents state, "We want to say that Jesus is a great son and also a great student. He is responsible and enjoys completing his homework. We are very happy and thank you for the wonderful surprise of his being named Student of the Month. We are proud parents and hope to see Jesus receive more recognition as he proceeds through life." Congratulations, Jesus.
After we give out these awards, we also like to do something that's equally as important. We want to make sure that we acknowledge the support system that Jesus has in his home environment, because we understand that without that, it's obviously very difficult, and Jesus' success is certainly dependent upon that support that he does get at home. So Jesus, your family, your friends, your neighbors, if you would stand.
Has been chosen as the Student of the Month for October at Petaluma Junior High School. A bright and highly motivated student, William Brinkman has been chosen as the Petaluma Junior High School Student of the Month for October 2013. A 4.0 student taking both high level and 7 classes, including Honors English, Spanish 1B, and Honors Band, Lily takes pride in her work and excels in everything she does. Teachers state, Lily is an excellent student who sets high standards for herself. She always goes above and beyond the requirement on any given project. Lily is self-motivated, reliable, resourceful, gracious, and independent. She is consistently on the honor roll and has earned the Principal's Gold and Renaissance Awards. She is well-liked and respected by all, setting a good example for peers regarding her positive behavior, good attitude, and exceptional work ethic. Overall, Lily is a valued member of the student body who contributes greatly to a positive school climate. Lily is concerned about the environment and in elementary school helped with a project called Cool the Earth. She and her friends taught their peers about the importance of conserving water and recycling garbage. Lily is also concerned about the bullying that goes on at school and is a role model for others with her upbeat, supportive, and friendly demeanor. Lily values creativity, which she embraces through her flute playing and writing. She takes being an honor band very seriously, practicing daily and challenging herself towards the next level. Creative writing is a passion, and she loves coming up with her own stories. Lily tried multiple times to be a professional novelist and continues to pursue her dream. An example of her tenaciousness occurred in 7th grade when she took a 5,000 word challenge in English to write a 30,000 word novel. Lily also enjoys spending time with her family. They are very close, and she especially likes traveling together overseas as well as to Los Angeles, where her sister attends college. Lily's future goals include maintaining good grades throughout her school career, attending a good college, writing novels, and ultimately becoming a published author. Her parents state, "Our lovely youngest daughter has always impressed and delighted us with her creativity and imagination. Whenever she is knitting, playing her flute, trying to master the butterfly stroke, or completing a story, we know she embraces and enjoys the challenge of creating and learning." Lily's parents are very proud of their daughter. Congratulations, Lily and Brickman.
How about Kim Award?
Petaluma Junior High is pleased to introduce October Student of the Month, Jake Duca.
There was a young man who was trying to get in that might be outside.
They're waiting right there.
You let them know.
Suka?
No, I just saw a young man, I thought like, hi.
No?
Okay.
All right, we'll catch Jake Duca next summer.
Is he on the agenda at the end of the meeting? They were talking about the track.
No. All right, sorry.
That's okay, we'll catch up with Jake next month and we'll work. Okay, why don't you go ahead with your next one? Yeah, go ahead. No. No.
Oh, no, I don't have to. The other person can do next.
Okay. Then you're done.
Our other student on the basketball court, she was finishing up her basketball game, so she wasn't gonna be here.
But do you think she'll be able to make it next month?
Yeah,
or
she's planning
should
on
we go?
coming next week, so or next month, so we'll help.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
If not, I'll go out there. I'm happy to do it. All right, then let's go to Petaluma High School.
Hello, I'm Molly Okamura, Senior Class Vice President at Petaluma High School, and I would like to introduce Dylan De Leon, who is the October Student of the Month. Dylan, a 17-year-old senior at Petaluma High School, has been taking advantage of all of the classes that were available at PHS since his freshman year. He wished that there had been more periods available in the school day so that he could have taken more shop classes like auto and wood shop. One class that he has enjoyed since his freshman year has been AutoCAD, which helped him expand his passion and interest in civil engineering. Other classes that Dylan has enjoyed have been AP US History, Honors Chemistry, Photography class, and being part of the school band. Calculus, being a hard class for him, he likes due to the complexity of it and that it is like another English class for him. One has to think deeply on every variable that is to be written. Dylan is also a founding member and president of the school's Bilingual Student Ambassadors Club that promotes the assistance of Hispanic parents to after-school events by offering translation services in order to get the parents engaged with the school and the community. Being raised by his grandmother while his mom was in the pursuit of the American dream, she taught him all of the life values that he lives by today, such as honesty, courage, and humbleness. While living with his grandmother, humility was easy to learn because they lived in poverty for over a decade. He learned what it was like to be looked down on. Learning what it felt like walking several kilometers to get educated, he takes nothing for granted. Later, when he was 10, he moved from his home country to the United States to be reunited with his mother. Today, he is happy to know that both his mother and grandmother are proud of him for achieving goals, such as being Student of the Month and being the first one in his family that will attend college, where he will pursue his civil engineering passion.
Hello, I'm Mackenzie Moreta, and I'm the ASB Vice President. And I'd like to introduce Leslie Mejia, and the other October Student of the Month. Leslie Mejia is a bright individual who has worked hard not only academically, but outside of the classroom as well. In the classroom, she has taken many of the honors and advanced placement courses that Petaluma High School has to offer, and has excelled as well, with a cumulative GPA of 4.16. Last semester, she received a GPA of 4.5. Outside of the classroom, Leslie has been part of the school's track team, color guard, and winter guard. Currently, she serves as one of the founders and members of the Bilingual Student Ambassadors, while also performing her duties as one of the French Club's presidents. Leslie plans on applying to many private colleges in many areas of the country, from California to Pennsylvania and Connecticut, along with some of California's UC schools.
All right, last but never least, Casa Grande. Who do I have? Oh,
Hello, my name is Jessica Sandoval, and I'm the co-ASB president for the 2013-2014 school year. And we're pleased to introduce Matthew Jawandi as one of our October Students of the Month. Matthew Jawandi is an active, well-rounded student at Casa Grande High School. He enjoys being energetic and active in everything he does and loves to make people laugh. Matthew has played on the Casa tennis team for 3 years and became a co-captain sophomore year. That same year, he started the Casa Tennis Club. He has been a band member for 4 years. He wakes up every morning to go to Zero Period Symphonic Band and states that he does not remember what it's like to wake up at 6 in the morning, what it's not like to wake up at 6 in the morning. This year, he is a brand new member of the varsity jazz band. Matthew is an active member in the community. He has volunteered at the community center during the summer and has volunteered at the Civil Air Patrol in Nevada. Matthew has taken many honors in AP classes, receiving the AP Scholar with Honors and the Community Achievement Top 10 Award for sophomore and junior year. He is also a member of the Academic Decathlon, receiving a silver medal in speech and bronze medal in Super Quiz last year. This year, Matthew is the captain of the ACDEC team and is excited about the upcoming regional competitions. He doesn't know what he wants to major in yet, but he hopes to attend UC Berkeley, partly because of the education, but mostly because his mom will feed him. What he decides to do in the future, Matthew is determined to succeed. Once again, this is Matthew.
I swear they eat more when they go to college than they did when they were adults.
Casa Grande is also honored to introduce Joe Faig as our other October student. Joe Faig is an outstanding student at Casa Grande with many achievements. He is currently ranked third in his class in the class of 2014 with a 4.34 total GPA. In addition to his academic achievements, he is the senior patrol leader of the Boy Scouts Troop number 7. Over the summer, he planned and carried out an Eagle Scout project in which he constructed 4 fire hose boxes for the Petaluma Adobe. Joe has been on the Casa tennis team for 3 years and plans on playing his 4th season in the spring. He has been in the band and jazz band program for all 4 years of high school. His talent allowed him to be in the symphonic band for 2 years and be on the varsity jazz band for 3. He is also a 4-year member of the tennis club. In his free time, Joe volunteers at the Petaluma Wildlife Center to make clean paths, plant trees, or pick weeds. Joe loves to play online games with his friends, play tennis with friends, and build contraptions. He hopes to study engineering in college to expand his hobby of building contraptions so he can enjoy work when he's older. Congratulations, Joe.
Wasn't that fun? That was fun. So, in closing for Students of the Month, I would just like to share with you a couple of things. First of all, you'll get your name on the Wall of Fame. And you can see that this goes back into the early 80s. And with that, as I always like to tell everybody, that you get a key to the room, which also works for the frozen yogurt machine in the back. So you can come by anytime you want. But seriously, if you would like to come by at 10 o'clock at night, just call.
I like frozen.
We'll let you in just so you can show somebody the fact that you made it to the Wall of Fame. Think about it, and obviously I can't do the air math, but somebody, one of you, 4.13 or 4.31, whatever that was here, I'm sure it can. We have about 7,400 students, and 8 of you are here tonight. So that's some pretty elite company. You should be very proud of yourselves. We're very proud of you. There's a whole bunch of people that are here tonight that have worked pretty hard to help you get where you have arrived so far. I hope you remember to thank them as you pass them on a daily basis. Remember to thank your parents. Good luck. And the 8th graders, there's not a whole lot of repeat offenders up on the wall. So I would challenge you to don't rest on your laurels and try to work hard the next 4 years and be what we call a dope lay up there. All right? Oh, so we were missing somebody from Kenilworth, I believe, earlier. Did somebody just show up, Student of the Month? Okay. A couple of well-dressed guys in the back there? No? All right, very good. All right, so let's do this. We have the next presentation that we have is a very important presentation from Petaluma High School. We have a whole room full of people and a bunch of people that probably need to go home and do some homework based upon the grades that I just heard. So I'm going to ask you if you would like to stay, Students of the Month, and anybody else, but I'm going to offer you an opportunity to not stay. So I'm going to call a real quick 1-minute break. Whoever was here from Petaluma High School, I would encourage you to stay just to fact check Mr. Sturt, who's going to be giving us a presentation on what's going on at Petaluma High. All right, so let's take a real quick 90-second break. Anybody that needs to get home? Ms. Escobedo, would you please introduce your guest?
Yes, tonight we are happy to reintroduce David Sturt, principal of Petaluma High School, and Deb Fitch, who's one of the math teachers at Petaluma High School. And they have been working diligently for the last 2 years to revamp the program at Petaluma High School. And tonight they're here with an update for us. So, Deb, David?
So thank you, first of all, to the district and board for allowing us to present an update on our progress at Petaluma High School. My name is David Sturt, principal of the school, and as you might remember, we were here about 2 years ago presenting an executive summary of the school which described who we were at the time and the staff's desire to move in a new direction. That directional shift is now essentially complete, and we're here tonight to describe where we are now and then where we're heading in the future. Before I introduce our feature presenter, Ms. Fitch, I want to touch on one item. I have been in conversation with district leadership about the idea of offering the PSAT to all sophomores. As you know, the PSAT is the practice test for the SAT and a step on the way to college. It's also an early data point for students. The College Board, which runs the PSAT and SAT, provides schools with an AP potential list after the results are in, which we can then use to guide students into directions that might be more appropriate or more rigorous, depending upon how they scored on these tests. We can more readily find the students who may not have had access to these classes before, partly because we just didn't know. So this is the key element in closing the achievement gap that we're always talking about. If we talk about it, this is actually a way to I think, get closer to it. So this last week, 325 sophomores took the PSAT, and we'll soon have that information that you can work with. I should also say it was a gigantic task to shift the test from a Saturday, which we've been doing for years, to a Wednesday, to a school day. If I had this choice again, part of me would have waited for next year and a late start schedule for the non-testers, the way we do the high school exit exam. However, I'm really glad that we went ahead because 325 sophomores took it and now we'll have this information to work with. So I think that though it was torturous, I think it was worth it. While those sophomores tested, so did 131 juniors, compared to 67 in 2012. So about a double in terms of numbers, which argues for the PSAT to be proctored and given during the school day. There's more access and a demand from those juniors. But we still have an access problem when students self-select to take the test. So of the 131 juniors who tested, 14 were on free and reduced lunch. This numerically is kind of hard, but let me so 14 of the 131 were free and reduced, 117 were not. We have 82 free and reduced lunch kids in the junior class, so 14 of 82, or 17%, took the PSAT as juniors. Looking now at the 117 who were not free and reduced, 117 of 243 non-free and reduced lunch kids took the PSAT, or 48%. That's your achievement gap in terms of poverty. We've got too many kids who don't access a collegiate test for whatever reason. So that argues for giving it to all sophomores, and I appreciate the board and the district stepping forward to allow us to do that, because I think that's going to make a difference down the road. Next year, these sophomores who did take the test, we can say, you really need to take this test again. If you want to be a National Merit Scholar, if you want to be continuing to think about the road to college, we already have a data point saying that you're already on the way, so continue that. The real power of this opportunity, though, was actually personal for me. I got to go into each sophomore world history class and talk about college, talk about PSAT, to say to them that the administration of the school, the staff, the teachers, the district, and the board believe that you can all go to college. It doesn't mean that you all will go to college. We know that's not likely, but we believe that right now, all of you have that potential and that option. And though you may not all go, your post-secondary options can include a four-year college, alongside SRJC, alongside an apprenticeship program, alongside traveling the world. Whatever your choices are, we don't want Petaluma High School to be the thing in the way, the barrier to that option. The key is not letting any student do the high school experience without finding that focus. And Ms. Fitch is going to talk about this in a second. That's the thing that I think I'm pretty fierce about. If a kid finds something they love, something they're passionate about, they're going to succeed in high school, and they're going to be ready for the future. So when they're flipping those tassels and throwing those mortarboards, I want them to be able to say to us, I'm ready for the next step. I'm ready for my post-secondary experience. All right, I'm going to bring on someone who's far better at doing this than I, and that's Ms. Deb Fitch. So.
Thank you very much. And so, as David said, I'm Deb Fitch, and I do teach math at Petaluma High. I wasn't aware that David was going to do this, and that's all right. But I do have a story about it, and that is that on that very same day, our students took the PSAT, and they took it in the first two periods. So the last period that afternoon, I had a student come into my geometry class, and he said, Mrs. Fitch. I said, how did it go? He said, really good. What you taught us yesterday was on the PSAT. I'm like, yay! Anyway, so that's it. And also, as David said, is I'm here to really update you, and part of the update is this little brochure. So David's going to be my clicker here. A little over 2 years ago, we colleagues and I approached you for your approval to take the opportunity to really look at Petaluma High School and what we did well and where some of the holes were, and to develop a redesign. And Jane said that also, that we were very excited then, and we are extraordinarily excited now, because it's taken that time to plan and then go to implementation. So we used research certainly to align our plan with the goals that you had set forth. So this, as you may recall, this design really does meet and is consistent with the board goals for Petaluma City Schools. And what we realized is that it was very much like a WASC process, and we are actually now in our WASC process, because we addressed and got input from not only teachers, but all staff members, students, and parents. And so we feel like we really did hit all of our stakeholders. So that's what we want to do. We want to update you on that. So if you take first of all, take the brochure. We call this our 9-fold instead of our trifold. And you'll see that we have the wheel. Oh, by the way, we have 4,000 of these. So anybody wants them, just, let us know. Okay, so The four components of the wheel then, what we did was to design this with students' success in mind. So that's at the center of our wheel. And originally, we had 3 C's, 3 skills that wrapped it together. And then in last year, moving from 3 C's to 4 C's, it was just like, okay, well, we're a little ahead of our time. We'll just adjust that. And so that does remind me to tell you that this is also, although we have 4,000 of them printed, we've already made changes. So it is a living document. We change it a lot. What I'm here to do is to just touch on each of these 4 components briefly, and then, as David said, tell you what we are doing and what we intend to continue to do. So if we go to the next slide, you'll see that we're going to start with the spoke of the wheel on pathways. And what a couple of people have said certainly is that we know from research that if students have an idea of what they want to do and what they want to pursue beyond high school, that makes them more successful in school in general and high school specifically. So what we did was to look at our school and the information that is available to us through for career technical education through the California Department of Ed. And they have 14 industry sectors that they've developed. We know that at Petaluma High, we focus on 6 of those 14, and if you turn it over to the other side, you'll see those in more detail. And within those 6 industry sectors, we offer 25 certificates in 25 different pathways. In order for students to earn those pathways certificates, they take an introduction, cornerstone, concentration and capstone course. There are GPA requirements, attendance requirements. One of the things so we spent a lot of time planning that, looking at what we now offer, looking at what we want to fill in. And in our first year, we gave 65 certificates at graduation, last year 90, and so our hope, of course, is that we continue to grow. One of the things that I want to mention also, that as part of those pathways, is that we offer programs that earn students certifications in industry-wide certifications, so in manufacturing and construction and auto. So those are along with that. If you turn back over then to the wheel, the second spoke is around future vision. And before I continue, I think that it might be clear that all of these spokes, of course, interrelate. So one of the things that we're saying is that if we want students to become familiar with pathways and want to move forward, then they have to have some sense of what their interests are. So this idea of future vision, we have created activities for each grade level. These are done in different ways. They're interest inventories in the 9th grade, and we go through and do 4-year plans and all kinds of things. And so those are in certain classes like human interaction. We go into world history classes for sophomores and do some more. So various teachers, various classes. And what we've also done is to really emphasize not just clubs in general, which we do, but certainly the clubs that relate to career. So we have a strong and stronger, we've always had such a strong Future Farmers of America, FFA, as you know. We are growing our Skills USA. We do conferences, Skills USA conferences at our high school, so people come from all over. Future Business Leaders of America. HOSA is, of course, folks who are interested in the medical field. So those clubs then help to support future vision. And we have created some job shadows, and we hope to do more. So that's that whole, like, how do I know what I'm interested in so that I can choose these classes and pathways. The next spoke, and it's to me, the fact that it has the most bullets is, of course, about academic performance, because getting back to the middle of this wheel, it's all around student success. We are really excited about various programs to support kids who struggle. So one of our programs is, we call it the Algebra 1 Restart. For years and years and years, like as far as I can remember, kids who fail the first semester of Algebra 1 just keep on going, and they fail the second semester. And the whole thing about, if you continue to do what you've always done, you'll always get, right? And so we said, wait a minute, we want to stop that. So we put them into a different class. We call it Restart, and our success is that 13 of those 16 students were successful in the first semester and have gone on to the second semester of Algebra 1. As you know, Algebra 1 is a real hurdle, and again, our research tells us that so many students who drop out of high school, it's because they have not passed Algebra 1. That's a clear indicator. Another one is the Algebra 1 with support. That's the double class. Last year, every single student in that class passed except for 2, and those 2 students didn't ever show up, so we couldn't quite do that. But lots of success. We also have our ELD teacher and our teacher of native speakers have aligned themselves and collaborate. Those students go to both classes, so again, getting those students up and running and successful. At the other end, we are very happy to show that in 2012 we had 137 students pass the AP test. 2013 it was up to 165, and we continue along that road. One of the things that we are proud of also is that we have various articulation programs, and that's up there, and you know some of that, but that kind of push to this is a stepping stone to your life beyond high school. The GLASS teams, links, pathways, that's all around professional learning communities, making sure that we have, that we're cross, not just kind of tunnel, that we cross departments and programs, and we have our, we have our hands on these kids. So we're very proud of that, and we will continue to do that. And the final spoke is around personalization. We know all of the research says that if kids feel connected to school, to an adult, to each other, that they will be enormously more successful. So we've done quite a bit in this arena, and one is what we call Trojan Connections, and that is a teacher meets with students about every other week, and we have done things like help students set goals for the year, ways to be organized for themselves and in school. One of the things that we've been particularly successful around in terms of Trojan Connections is connecting kids to PHS. We just finished our homecoming week, and we had many, many more kids involved in a lot of those activities, and part of that was because we introduced that topic in Trojan Connections and how they could be involved. We are expanding the definition of leadership as well, so it's not just the ASB group, but we are bringing back really a program that we had a number of years ago, and that is to have delegates and really spread that word. Another way that we include leaders is our T-Force. That's the freshman orientation, linking juniors and seniors with freshmen. And it was mentioned earlier, but the Safe School Ambassadors program is back as well. So lots of different ways to connect students. So, where we're headed, I mean, clearly our emphasis is on our 4 C's, the 21st century skills, and what we're doing in pathways. We want to increase participation, as I said earlier. We want to make sure that students make even more of a connection to post-secondary opportunities. Our future vision, I said we have lots of materials available. We want to make sure that all teachers know about that and can use that in more classes in different ways. Academic performance, I mean, clearly the Common Core strategies and in professional learning communities, talking about that, sharing that, what's going on cross-curricular. And David mentioned achievement gap. That's huge on our minds, that we want to close that achievement gap. And finally, as I mentioned, we have so many of these programs in the personalization and support area that we've designed. We really want to build on them. I hope that you see that we have taken the time to do all of this planning. The planning The initial planning is done. We've implemented it for a year. It was last spring that we said, you know, we want to come and tell you about it because we're really proud of that and happy to share that with you. And so our motto continues to be that we want to make sure that students feel like we are a small, intimate place, but that has huge opportunities. And so small school atmosphere, large school opportunities for every student. Thank you.
If someone is so inclined, you'd be willing to take a question or two?
Sure.
Please.
Have you gotten much feedback from students and teachers and parents on any differences they're noticing and feeling?
Yeah, I mean, it's anecdotal. It's data gathering is always difficult, but we've had lots of parents say they're excited about the opportunities that the kids are experiencing. Kids, I think, are the ones that I think, as Deb mentioned, who say that, yeah, we like this. As I said in the little opening piece there, it's given or made it more clear what it means to choose something, to actually say, okay, that's me. What do I look like as a student? How many times have we seen those kids at graduation? They just graduated, they've done their thing, and they kind of have that dazed look in their eye. Like, okay, I'm done now, and now I'm supposed to do something else. We really want to be able to have the conversation with those kinds of kids and say, so you know what you're doing because you knew what you were doing when you were in high school. You knew why you were there. And I think these elements, the pathways in particular, help kids to make those choices. The hard work is to make sure that teachers, counselors, staff members are having those conversations early with kids so they're making those choices. Not being forced to, but making a choice about something. And it's not a major. This is not a lifetime decision, though it could be. It's a decision for high school that gives them focus so that they can go on to something else. Mike?
David, do you have anything in place, or has anybody formally think where maybe you know of situations where a student is the first in his or her family to have an opportunity to go to college, and you know they're qualified, and you see that they're on, say, par for you see, and no, but I'm just wondering, are we doing anything to maybe give a little extra reach out or grab of them so that you know they really get kind of some support? Because I know I was the first one in my family, and my mom was real basic. She wanted us all to go in the military, and my brother shot better than I did. He went, I didn't. But I remember her thinking, telling me, and we didn't have language barriers or those kind of things, but just saying, hey Mike, if you think you're smart enough to get into college, then you should be smart enough to figure out, you know, how to sign up. Mm-hmm. And I just wonder, are we doing anything to kind of facilitate? Because I did it, and I asked around and got it done, and I'm just wondering if there's anything in place that we can grab these kids and maybe get more of those I'm the first stories.
Right. The PSAT story is a bit about that. When we do honors and AP courses, what we do is we say, come after school, and if you're interested, you can take the test for AP World History. Well, that's not the way to do it. That's great if you've got kids who are ready to do it, and they've got parents who said, yeah, go do that. But that doesn't bring the student in who didn't know that they had that opportunity, or doesn't think they can. Lots of kids don't have the confidence, but they have the capability. So PSAT is an example of that. It gives us the confidence tool to go to Mike Badley and say, hey Mike, look what you scored here. You're doing fine. You should really, what are you thinking about for a four-year school? What are you thinking about for your future? Yes, you should take AP World History next year. Yes, you should be taking honors chemistry. You seem like you've got a scientific mind. So it's the outreach is from counselor and teacher directly to student, one-to-one. It's not inviting people to come into the tent of AP and honors and world. It's go out with the data that you have and say, Mike, you're coming here with us. And that's how you open the opportunity. Because parents, lots of parents, we have ELACs, we have a great ELAC. We had 45 people at our ELAC meeting, and those parents don't necessarily know how to access the collegiate system. Their kids are bright, they're doing great, but they don't know what to do next. It's our job, our support system has to provide those structures for those parents and those kids so they can make that next step. And I think we're getting there. I think this step is really part of it.
Mike, I don't think that there's one specific for that, like first, you know, I know exactly what you're saying. There are two things, though, about this that is helping that, and that is the Trojan Connections, because we're talking about that. So I'm talking with that same group of kids And they are my students. I just have like 25 minutes every other week to talk about other things, this being one of them. So that gives me the opportunity to connect with students, and we are talking about some of that, like how to apply to college and that kind of thing in that arena. And the other is when I said that there were this future vision materials, so interest inventories. Now that is for all students, but our hope is that we really do reach those individuals. But thank you for that reminder, though, because it wouldn't be that much harder to find that out and reach to that. Yeah.
I just make a comment that at our the last district leadership team meeting, many of the issues that you have in your program are things that district-wide you want to develop, have to develop. And so it's nice that you have structures in place that, feed nicely with things that we want to see developed and enhanced. So,
Great.
not just at Petaluma, but
yeah, everywhere.
Yeah.
David, what are you seeing in the ag programs, in the construction technology programs, auto? Are we seeing a flat enrollment? Is it climbing? Is it declining? What's it looking like?
I think it's climbing. Our overall enrollment is climbing too, so we're going to see the trajectory around 1,600 kids by 2017-18. So that's just a bubble coming through the 6th, 7th grade right now. We just had, as Steve knows, we had a group in yesterday. We have a new STEM course that was funded through the CDE fund for the supervisors in Sonoma County. And those kids are going to feed in on a high-end level into the industrial tech program. So right now they're doing theoretical work, but they're also hands-on. They're doing robotics. And they're doing, yesterday they were using solar cells to make things move and look at the way those things work. Those kids in a sophomore year will take that class, and they'll also likely take a hands-on course. They'll get into metals 1 or 2. And so it's going to grow the industrial tech group by adding the kind of kid that one day Stanford and UC Berkeley are going to want. The kid who both has hands-on experience in industrial technology, but also has a theoretical base through biology, chemistry, and honors physics to take on those things. Those kinds of institutions are going to be looking for not just the theoretician, but the person who's done it. And that's what we want, and that's what industry wants. They want, yeah, it's great that you know how to say it and know how to think it, but can you actually do it? Do you understand how to manufacture? Do you understand the floor of a manufacturing facility? And these kids will have both those. So yeah, I think it's growing. Fred Brunton would love to be full-time at Petaluma High. He does that every year. We had 110 auto signups this year. We couldn't accommodate them all. And Fred was in that awkward place of being 4 periods or 1, and just the way his contract worked. But yeah, the interest is there, so I think we're growing in those areas. And though we're talking about 4-year colleges, as long as kids know what they're doing, then we don't care if they go to a 4-year college necessarily. As long as they have focus and they've got a career figured out, then we're going to support them.
Well, I went to a 4-year college and I can't go to a college. So somebody's
The UC gate qualification, are you starting to see a little bit more of the enrollment due to, I know it's a slow incremental process, but
we're going to see more of that next year, Mike. Yeah. But those courses are now, more of those courses are now ADG, and we work with SCO and Positional Geography, Stephen Jackson's office. So she's helped a lot with aligning the courses to ADG standards. And we have turning point with our teachers, and they kind of, okay, I get it. I get why the ADG matters. That's how we're going to grow enrollment from all ends. So that's happening in auto, in construction technology, and in metals.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to comments from the public. What happened to my 2 well-dressed, tie-wearing students? Do you have one of these, or why don't you bring it over here to Donna? And I'm going to read this, and we're going to start with you. So, you're up. Do what you got to stretch, or do whatever you got to do. Give me 1 minute, because I need to read this long government code section. All right, comments from the public. Under Government Code Section 54954.3a, members of the public have the right to address the governing board on any items of interest, provided it relates to the subject matter jurisdiction. You guys are paying attention? Yeah. Okay. of the school district. In accordance with board policy BP 9323, each speaker is allocated a total of 5 minutes to address the board for a maximum of 20 minutes on each subject matter. So you can both talk for 5 minutes, but not 20, okay? While the above referenced government code allows speakers to criticize the district's policies, procedures, programs, services, and/or employees, the district does have a current policy, BPAR 1312, specifically, complaints against employees. Should comments from the public pertain to a specific district employee, the board requests that the complaint first be submitted in writing to the employee's immediate supervisor for investigation. The board does not take action or discuss items not appearing on the agenda. Board values public comment, which is conveyed that although board members cannot discuss items that are not on the agenda, they listen carefully and appreciate and value your input. And so what that means is, if it's not on the agenda, we can't really have a big dialogue about it because the public has a right to know what we're going to talk about when we're here. And if it's not on the agenda, no one saw it, and they may have a counterpoint to yours. But we want to hear what you have to say. And if it's something that's really important, maybe we'll put it on the agenda the next time. Okay? Make sense? Let's start with you guys. Why don't we, so it's Chad Nathanson and Scott Garrett. Okay. Go.
Hi. So as you guys know, I'm Chad Nathanson and Scott Garrett. And we're both athletes and students over at Casa Grande High School. And we're both on the track and field team and cross country team. As of right now, Casa Grande is the only public high school in Sonoma and Marin County without a track. As of right now, we're having one of the best years we've had for both girls and boys. We're going to be going to state this year, and we're ranked second in NCS. With the great community that we have in Petaluma, we like it so that our community and fans can be able to come out and watch us. Due to that, it's going to require fundraising and also a big build-up of money. Our estimated money right now is about $800,000 for the track. It's took us 6 years to raise $63,000. And we want to get the process going. We're here to tell you guys that we're very serious. We're not doing a little dine and donate someone and raise a couple $100 here and there. We're serious that, as you guys have already said, we would do naming rights with the track. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get out there and talk to the big businesses because we are serious and we want to get this track going in the next couple of years. I'm going to pass it on to Scott, and he's going to talk to you guys about what we're trying to do and the things that we are starting to do to get raise money towards the track.
Well, like Chad said, we only have $63,000, but I mean, right now we have we have 20 or 30 kids that are dying from this track. Just absolutely just thinking about it. Millions of things. I mean, we've been going through. We're selling bricks to students, which are like $100 a pop, and we've been doing. We've been thinking about doing a dawn and dusk run. To gain money, and just a whole bunch of different ideas. And these kids are striving for this track. I mean, we are just, it's just awesome to see these people just really going out there and wanting this. And I mean, we're getting their name out there. We're trying to get to the newspapers and radio stations, and I mean, that's just not working. So we are trying to go to Friedman's, which will be our next big ticket, and Scion, and Mr. Murphy, Papa Murphy. So yeah, I mean, that's what we're heading towards. And I think, I mean, since we have these dedicated people, I think we can get the money. So yeah.
With the brick idea, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get businesses or any people who did go to Casa Grande, they can get their name engraved in the track. Whether it's if you want a big brick for $100, it keeps going up. We're starting to do that. Along with that is we're trying to raise money. I just talked to a local radio station, and next week they're actually going to be talking about Casa Grande and any businesses that would be willing to do naming rights. So that's we've also talked to Press Democrat. They're going to put something out in the paper. Like I said, we're going to try to contact Mr. Friedman. Big companies that can't get this track going. We really feel that would benefit the community. I mean, we have a PE teacher back here, it's Miss Oaks, and as of right now, I don't know if she's still doing it, but she was a track coach over at Kenilworth. And she'll tell you, the money that they have to get buses just to go do a track meet over at Petaluma High. Not only will this track benefit the community, it's going to benefit having home meets, bringing revenue up for the school. If we can get our fans to come out and be able to watch us. along with helping Kenilworth, so they can also have home track meets. Scott's going to give you more on how that can benefit the community.
Yeah, benefiting the community, people run on this track all the time, and they do say, it's crummy. You go in there, and you're, in the center and stuff, it's all muddy, it's all messed up. You can't even run. We had practices in the rain, and our whole shoes are all wrecked, and we're just slipping and sliding all over the place and stuff. And then afterwards, it's all bumpy, and you're rolling ankles, twisting ankles, and people are having to skip track the next day because they just can't even run. And it's a big safety hazard. It's not nothing to really joke around about. And for benefits too, students will achieve academically higher if their sports are more recognized. I know a lot of people that play football and soccer, and they have to get that that bar grade to play that sport. And if you're in track and you have people watching you and stuff like that, and people are seeing you, that makes it more interesting, and then you're gonna want to be on track more, and you're gonna want to strive academically to reach those levels, reach that grade, so you can stay on the team. And that's a big thing academically, that people get kids out there. So.
One thing to keep in mind is that Casa hasn't had a home meet in 6 years. If they wanted to have a home meet at Casa Grande, they legally can't. The track is not up to code, and it's not physically safe for athletes to compete at. We could have a running event, but all our field events, if you go and check them out at the front, there's a certain amount of blockage, so that if you were to go, whether it's discus, high jump, there's a certain blockage so they don't get injured, and nothing's up to code. So even if we wanted to have a home meet, it's not possible. We're trying to get an all-weather track. Not only do we feel like it benefits us, the community, we feel like it benefits not our academics as like he said, getting the kids excited that people are going to come out and watch them. And if you ask any PE teacher at Casa Grande High School, they never use the track for number one reason. Is every time those kids step on that track, dirt, and they drag it all into the gym, and they drag it all the way, and it causes them to clean up, so they don't want to deal with the track. Casa is built on an Adobe, so it is dealt with, dealing with dirt and all that. But we really do feel that this is something we want to get going towards the next couple of years, because, I've talked to people who graduated, and they said, yeah, we were thinking about getting that track in 5 years ago, and look at our progress, $63,000 isn't much. We know there's not a lot of money in the district. We didn't come here to ask for you guys to write us a big check right now. That's not what we're here to do. What we're here to do is to get you guys, if you guys, whatever you can help us fundraise and get the word out and get this track going, because Petaluma is a great town. We have all these people out here not just coming to support you guys and come to a board meeting. They came here because this is an important meeting, and we want to get our schools better for Petaluma. I know that's why you guys are all up here. You guys are out here for it.
Clarifying question. Do you have any idea, you mentioned the all-weather track and what you've raised, what is the fundraising goal or the total cost of this project?
Yeah, we talked to a local company that does do tracking, put in tracks, and the local money for that is $800,000. $800,000. That is just including the track and putting cement around. That does not include stands or press box. The snack bar was already put together. That's something that they just started, but the total right now is $800,000. And that's including putting field events in.
The Relay for Life community uses that track once a year too, don't they?
Yes, it
is. We always make fun of that sometimes, because they groom it right afterwards, and when they're done using it, it's like a crater, like bombs went off.
If you walk on it, it's
it's not fun. Yeah, especially running after this.
You did a very nice job. You have an important cause. I will buy a brick.
Oh, thank you very much. I actually have forms here if you So what now, this is Buy the Break. This is the website. The prices for break. Actually, I'll come right back. You guys,
Give me a couple.
Yes, of course. I got some more. One sec, sorry. These are different. These are for contact information.
You guys are invited to come back anytime you want.
Oh, thank you very much.
Update of how you're doing, okay?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Well done.
Got that for you guys?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Should take 30 seconds to pass them.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. What else I like to we are running low on flyers, but if you guys go to Casa Grande Track and Field, the link for the brick website is directly on there. Here's some flyers for contact information. Okay. Here's some contact information.
Welcome to my world.
All right, move to our second speaker, and that would be Sarah Obaji? Was I even close? Obaji? I can't even remember what I had for lunch yesterday. Okay.
Well, hello, and this time I'll introduce myself. Last time I forgot to. I was halfway through. So I'm Sarah Obaj, and I teach English over at Casa Grande High School. And I was here a few weeks ago talking to you about the Aries gradebook issue. And I'm back because we're 6 weeks in or so, and I wanted to give you an update from a teacher who's used it and the issues that I have and the concerns that I have regarding this program. This program, I wish I could say, has been something that has brought ease to my life and to the lives of my colleagues, but unfortunately it has brought nothing but stress and strain and problems. And I want you to understand that I'm somebody who is very familiar with online grade programs. I've been using them since 2008. And this particular program, I find 3 very important problems. One are some errors. I keep a backup gradebook with my old online grade program so that, because I know I can trust that one. And what I found when I uploaded my first set of grades after 3 weeks was that there were grades that were off by as much as 5%. And I would not know that unless I had kept the backup gradebook. So one Sunday, I spent 4 hours of my time going through, slogging through the Aries program to figure out why it was not jiving with what I had on my other grade program. I was calling Lori Dean. She was, emailing back with me, trying to figure it out. And I had discovered several issues, some of which were user operator error, and some of which seemed to be the Aries problem itself. One of which was Aries seemed to be changing values, which I've never had a problem with, where I would enter, let's say, an assignment at 10 points, and suddenly I'd go back through the assignment and find out that Aries had changed it to 15 points, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're doing an assignment out of 10 and you're putting in a grade, it can be huge. So we had huge problems with percentages, especially in one of my classes where I had weighted grades, and this is why I was emailing Lori. On weighted grades, you're supposed to see each section of the grades that show up. One was not showing up at all, and I said, I don't understand why the classwork isn't showing up at all on there. That took a good hour and a half to figure out that one of the buttons you have to hit on Aries is grading complete for one particular assignment. Well, if you're weighting your grades and you don't hit grading complete for every single assignment, then that whole section will not show up at all. So that took hours of my time. The other problem are glitches. I just got an email yesterday from a counselor and a parent who said that their student, who was supposed to have been dropped from my 5th period and put into my 2nd period, both classes were showing up on the Aries homepage. I got the email saying, from the counselor saying, maybe the teacher can figure out how to get this off Aries. I looked, and sure enough, that student was looking, in one class showed his normal grade, in another class showed an F, missing 19 assignments. And yet when I went into my Aries gradebook area, it said the student had clearly been dropped. So there's some glitches that I don't understand why that would happen. And finally, there's inconveniences. Aries is incredibly slow compared to other programs that we have to move around. It can add on, might not seem like a lot of time, but you could spend an extra 5 minutes per student just trying to maneuver around Aries instead of being able to click quickly through it. Also, every Wednesday, the people, the powers that be at Aries, whoever they are, have decided that Wednesday at 3:30 to 5, they would shut it down every Wednesday so that we cannot access it to do our grades. Instead of doing it at a more convenient time for teachers, which might be a Friday, they've decided to do it Wednesday at 3:30 to 5 o'clock. So another issue that has come up are operator errors, as I said. If a teacher doesn't know how to use Aries effectively, we had one colleague who uploaded all the grades, they all came up Fs. Within 2 minutes, parents are emailing, why does my student have an F? And it's understandable because that's our way of communicating. The problem is that's adding extra burden onto the teachers and adding extra time that we just don't have anymore. Again, I have 167 students and I don't have time to be contacting parents about problems that aren't even real because this teacher had uploaded grades that had all Fs there. I am very distrustful of this program after my first experience with it and seeing grades that were off by 5%, and my colleagues who are not keeping backup grade books, I wonder if their grades had actually been accurate. And that's my way of communicating with the parents, communicating with the students. That is my lifeline, that is my profession, is to be able to grade my students' work and give them an accurate assessment of where they are. So there are benefits to online grade programs. I have used one that is tried and true and sound and SIS compatible. Many of my colleagues are very satisfied with Easy Grade Pro, which I have not used, but they're happy with it, and that actually will feed directly into our system. And they have questioned, why can't we use a program that we know and trust that could easily feed into our system? I personally would love Jupiter Grades. Everybody knows that. Everybody's heard me say that 50,000 times. Because I think that this program, which is completely and fully SIS compatible with its graphic interface, is the way to go. So I'm here to request something from the board tonight, and I'm here to request that we do something radical. And that is that we go back to the teachers who have to use the online grade program, because nobody has said they don't want to use that. Okay, maybe one. Other than that, nobody says they don't want to be online. What we want is the ability to do our jobs effectively with programs that we know that work, that we are in the trenches having to use every day. And nobody should have to add a good 2 to 3 hours a week or more to their workload simply because there's a program that isn't working. And we would like the board, I would like the board to hear from teachers who are saying, please listen to us. This is our profession, this is what we do, and we want to be able to do it effectively. And I very much appreciate it.
Doug Emery.
No, I was going to yield my time to Ms. Sarah, who couldn't have spoken any better. But I do want to take a minute and not say too much on Aries.net because I'm in elementary and I've been there for quite some time. I'm proud to be a teacher for all that time. Some say 26, 27, I don't know. The pins are a year behind, so you never quite know how long you've been here. But Steve, it wasn't too long ago, Steve gave me my 25-year pin. But I'm hearing words that this might be coming to elementary. And with all this that Sarah describes, and I've heard this from numerous high school colleagues and junior high, I really want to recommend to the board that this doesn't get anywhere close to a 6th grade teacher or below, because this is something we do not need additional things put on our plates that befuddle what we've already experienced very successfully. And I think you'll agree, I'm very proud of the Petaluma City Schools
But we don't need anything that makes it any more complex. At this point, we don't have a report card. And so without a report card in the elementary, it makes it very difficult. We have conferences coming quickly. And I just don't want an Aries piece to be on top of trying to redesign in an emergency a report card that we don't have in our hands to speak to parents about. So I know there's a portal and everything else, but we just, in elementary, we don't want to, we just want to be direct with parents and use comments and things that are encouraging and bring morale to both parent education and students. And that's what we do best on a one-on-one, bringing parents together who sometimes are not together. We bring grandparents and people who are foster parents, and that's what we want to be able to do, not anything that is through any kind of complex portal that has grades uploaded, that is very slow and moves us away, our technology away from our clients or the students. We don't want to embrace technology so it moves us from the students and the families. We want to embrace those parents and students like we should. So thank you. That's all I have.
Finish up with Kim Sharp.
Hi there. I wanted to start with something that actually wasn't part of my address, but on behalf of the Petaluma Federation of Teachers, we'll buy a brick. Least we can do. So, good evening. There are so many things that can be said and discussed at this point. And I think that there are too many for just one board address. So I'm going to just start with this. And it's been very difficult for me to follow all those great predecessors, but I'm going to do my best. Trust is easily assumed, forgotten, and broken. Yet it takes Herculean efforts to repair it. I'm here tonight on behalf of the membership of the Petaluma Federation of Teachers. We are in the process of considering the newest tentative agreement and the impact it would make on our and our students' lives. No matter what results come from ratification, however, our job does not stop at an agreement. We need to rebuild the trust and communication in our district. PFT is committed to this rebuilding. We are calling on you tonight to join us in that effort. The district employs the most incredible professional teachers I have ever had the pleasure to work with. I'm proud that my own children are experiencing the benefits of an education in Petaluma City Schools, both in elementary and junior high this year. The extraordinary expertise of our teachers needs to be not only celebrated, but recognized and utilized. Together, let's rebuild that team. Petaluma City Schools and the Petaluma Federation of Teachers have a remarkable tradition of success through shared decision making. Let's please be a part of that impressive tradition again. Thank you.
From the public. I will entertain a 30-second break if anybody wants to head out. We'd love to have you stay. I'm only going to entertain it if somebody stands up. 30 seconds. All right, we're back. Moving on to item I, report on activities and correspondence with school board members. The activities that we have to report are tennis matches, Kenwood Junior High School site visit, national conference call with Diane Ravitch. So maybe we can only get through this and let's have some discussion about some of the stuff. KSRO radio interview. Common Core event at Casa Grande, varsity soccer and football. So let's go back to Diane Dodge. What was-
Nothing to report. It was just someone forwarded me, she was having a national conference call on education, and particularly corporate greed in education. I think we're good here. But, but it was an interesting hour. You don't often get to be on the phone with someone that's written a bazillion books on education. So it was interesting.
Wow.
So I grabbed the free opportunity to do that.
Okay. So that was activities correspondence. I will report that I had a number of phone calls at my house that were the result of some parents being handed a flyer. Unfortunately, I got to talk to one gentleman, and when I talked to him, he was eating his tri-tip dinner, and he asked me to call him back. I returned 6 phone calls 3 times, and I spoke to one gentleman for 10 seconds. I don't know if anybody had any better luck.
I had actually several phone calls, and they were excellent, lengthy discussions where they asked questions, I answered them, and you know, I felt good about the information, you know, shared. I think they understood, you know, kind of got a good picture.
I had several phone calls. I called them all back. Nobody called me back. Maybe they thought I'd charge them by the hour. And I had one directive to respect and listen to teachers, which we already do. So anyhow, that was the sum total of the interaction I got, and I suspect it was mostly because of those flyers.
Any other correspondence?
Yeah, I had 4 phone calls. One parent actually that was upset about the flyers, but she was great when we got off the phone. And another one I had a great conversation with. One that I'm still playing endless phone tag with, and one that didn't return my call. And unless Phoebe wants to report on the same thing, I wanted to just mention 2 other pieces of quick communication I had.
I also spoke to several parents at school campuses and on the phone. Yeah, interesting. I mean, some were very upset about what they were hearing and concerned about, you know, was there going to be a strike, whether our kids going to be at school. And again, you know, emphasizing that we were very fortunate to have such a wonderful school district and love their school teachers, and please respect the teachers and take good care of our teachers, and I agreed with that. And so, yeah, interesting conversations, but positive.
Well, it would have been fun if the room was still full, but I got something from Petaluma Wildlife Museum, and on November 1st, they're having a ages 7 through 12, an overnight, museum's first night at the museum. I found it's really interesting. So if anyone wants information on that, you can just Google it and go to their website. And they're having an open house and just all kinds of stuff going on there. And then Science Discovery Day at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds, which is this Saturday, a free event where our PHS teachers are going to be, and they're going to do all kinds of fun things with the kids, and it's free, and it's from 11 to 4. And free parking, and it just sounds really great too. So,
very good.
If anyone sees us before those 2 events, go. Sounds fun.
Okay. Anything else? All right, let's move on to the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of the consent agenda?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, let's go to Administration Human Resources. The first hold item is nominations for the Sonoma County Committee on School District Organization. The recommended motion is that the board consider submitting a nomination for the upcoming Sonoma County Committee on School District Organization election to fill the position for a representative for the 2nd Supervisory District, which I'm going to guess is us.
I believe it is. And I'm on that committee, but I think I was re-upped to maybe not, 2012, so that's last year.
Termed out.
Or maybe it was 2 years ago, I don't know. I think I have another couple of years. I don't have a particular person to put forward for the 2nd position. And the only thing I would like to comment on, oh wait, did I just say so moved? Did we do that?
I think so.
Okay. Did we move?
Well, there's nobody, if
No,
there's
I
nobody
mean,
to move, then
I don't have to do anything, okay.
Then
good.
just-
Don't have
you can
We
speak
just
to it
discuss,
and-
okay. But I did want to remind whoever is the representative on that votes, not the person that goes to the meetings, me, but we have a representative that we assign every January. I don't know who that is.
Is that me this year, or am I the alternate? I'm not this year.
You will
That
be
sounds
getting,
familiar.
Well, I thought it might be me.
you
Is
might
it you
be
and
getting
I'm-
a ballot in your email or in your mail to vote.
Okay.
Please vote.
Okay.
So whoever that person is, which one of you, I don't know.
Probably Mike. If it's Mike, I'm in big trouble.
No, I remember, I begged him
Yeah,
about
it's
nominating
one of
Mike or
us.
something, and then he thought he'd be a smarty pants, and after we needed an alternate, so I'm the alternate, so I think it is you.
Okay. Well,
Anyway,
I always
look at
vote
your
when I have
email.
an opportunity.
Okay, great.
Okay, so we're gonna.
No action.
So no
No
action.
action on that. Discussion item, leadership team representative. I don't know why we have a motion on discussion item, but the board discussed possible recommendations to fill 2 community at-large positions on the district school leadership team.
Well, again, we're looking for 2 business people representing the business community, because we have parents and, school site councils and PTAs represented, but more the community at large and business to be part of the district leadership team that will be working on the local control accountability plan for this year. And so if the board, we can carry this over to the next meeting, but if we could have a couple of nominations from the board for the
They're
leadership.
not parents, not
They
affiliated to
can be
school.
parents as well, but we're looking for community business representatives.
Okay.
Can they be retired people from education?
They could be retired and working in business at this time. That would be a possibility as well.
Like a retired teacher or?
Well, that's not really that's.
Looking for someone who owns a
We're looking
business.
for, somebody coming
In the
from the
greater
business
community.
perspective,
What about Will Belmar?
bringing the business community to the table as we look at our needs under the local control accountability.
And it's a monthly meeting?
It'll be meeting most every month this
First
this
Tuesday
year,
of every month.
until we establish the accountability
Right. And then it would be.
in June.
Can we push this to the next meeting?
Yeah, we will
Come
carry
back
this
with-
over.
We will come back with some suggestions.
Very good.
Some peeps.
Yeah.
I understand what we're trying to do. Okay. Going over to business services, I'm gonna work my way all the way down to number 7. Purchase order authorization, the recommended motion, the enclosed list of purchase orders be approved in accordance with board policy 3314. Take a motion.
So Second, sorry.
Pipe it out.
Anybody need to not be in on this one?
And we listed, so if people feel they need to abstain, they can do so at this time.
Is there anything on that? Oh, sorry.
Mike, you
I
good?
don't know.
Okay, so I got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? 5-0. And then 8, list of expenditures. The board ratify the enclosed list of expenditures. Let's get a motion and a second. Okay, so we'll take a second to look through there.
No, I'll just, there's a few small ones, so clients of ours, so I'll recuse or abstain.
You good? Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And one
One
abstention.
Okay, 401, very good.
Okay. Amended board policies for discussion. Looks like we've got fees and charges and general obligation bonds. Is there anything to discuss there? Anybody have a chance to read?
Questions?
No, but-
Anybody have any questions on it?
No.
Okay. Let's move over to educational services. Discussion item here with the 2015 Common Core Standards Implementation Plan. Anybody need any discussion on that?
So this takes 2 readings for the board to approve, and this is to spend the $1.5 million, approximately $1.5 million, $430,600 in the elementary district and $1,076,000 in the high school district.
This is a technology piece.
It incorporates technology piece to get us up to having the ability to take the online test.
We could spend it 3 ways: professional development, instructional materials, and technology. And if you remember, we estimated it's about 1/3 of the money that we actually need.
Correct.
Isn't that always the case?
And these are the percentages that.
I'll buy a brick for that too.
Yeah. And we had a committee that was.
Yes.
And this was all in agreement from this.
Okay. So I'm assuming no discussion on that. Let's move to item 3, discussion, board policy, promotion, acceleration, retention, involuntary transfer. Does anybody have any discussion on that? No. No? Okay. Future business, next board meeting is going to be at 6 p.m. on November 12th, right here at 200 Douglas Street. Steve, will there be anything?
At the conclusion of the general session, we're looking to go to a study session on the gamut online for future board agendas.
Oh, very good. Oh, that's right.
So CSBA will be here that evening. They will be here all afternoon. They'll be training clerical staff and then administration prior to the meeting, and then at the end of the meeting, coming back and training the board on how to use Gamut Online. And then the next meeting in December, the expectation will be that we will be online using.
Should we bring our own? Or
we can provide you with actually IBM ThinkPads, or you can bring your own device and use the district Wi-Fi to connect.
Okay.
And we'll make sure that closed session and anything else, any closed session prior to that meeting will be brief.
Yeah, we're trying to keep
Things
the
that
me-
come up, we'll
we're
make
trying
sure
to
we
keep the
try to
agenda
balance the agenda
tight
so we're not, okay.
For the meeting, where the desire is that we will be to training by 7 o'clock. So we'll try to keep the agenda very tight.
You remind me, we'll run.
Okay.
Okay, we've got some signing papers, and then we're going to adjourn to no papers to sign, very good. We're gonna adjourn to closed session. So we're adjourning to closed session. We'll be back.